same things before, and look, and he's already going, oh yeah, fine. A, I understand, and B, you know, oh, I'm a little bit better in my neck than I was last time. So I'm both quite dull and very, very predictable, and that actually works quite well with horses. Right, as long as you do things the right way. And people also go on about, you know, well, my horse anticipates. But you want the thing to anticipate. That's how they learn. When you make a gesture with your seat leg rein, it goes, oh yeah, I've heard this before. And that's what makes the horse increasingly easy to ride. It's recognition of what you learn. And you know, just this little progression that we've gone through here, to me it's very important that the horse looks as if it's learning something. And I always think when people put a horse together in a strong way, not necessarily you know, unethical, but they can get on with it, the horse does it, it doesn't really learn. And very often they get off and the other person gets back on, the horse really hasn't retained it. Whereas if somebody else got on this horse and rode in the same way that Anna was riding, the horse would recognise that and therefore go in the same way. And you know, again, you know, I always look at the horse's expression. And when you see that light of understanding, as it like in the horse's eye, I think that's a really, really lovely thing to see. Great, and very good. In your own time, go back to the trot and work the trot. Now, and again, this is a very personal thing, right? You'll notice that my emphasis in this was actually on quite a slow miles per hour, not high octane activity, until we felt we could drive the horse. And you know, you see a lot of people when they ride the train, it's all about go, go, go. You know what I said first of all this morning? Forward, 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 forward. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but I see too many horses being hurried and not understanding and moving a lot, but without the kind of coordination and synchronization that I think this little horse is starting to show us now. And I've played, or I have in the past, played quite a bit of sport. And if I've ever gone for a tennis lesson, I've never been told on that first lesson to hit the ball harder. Right? Quite the opposite. Slow down, get your balance right, get your technique right, and then your rhythm and your timing, and then add power to it. Now to me, this is what this is all about. This horse is now available to be activated and driven forward. To say that we weren't working on its impulsion would be wrong, because impulsion isn't just energy. Impulsion is energy contained in the horse's frame. So by definition, if a horse isn't in the correct frame on the right muscles, it can't be impulsive. I mean, a horse driving off over a field with you is active, but it's not impulsive, because it's not A, energy held in the horse's posture, and B, at the rider's disposal, and C, but the definition of impulsion I like perhaps best, is the ability of the horse to bend its hind legs and pick the rider up before pressing it forward. So supporting the rider before transporting. So all we've been done so far, yes, it hasn't been particularly active, but it's been putting technique in place so that the horse becomes available to activate. So Anna, what I want you to do is like you go through the same kind of means as we've just been working on. See if we can get a more active trot again, and then when you're ready, pop him into the canter. That's right. Now then, at this stage when you're activating the horse, you know, we all have a friend in Mr. Whippy. Because the whip in dressage terms isn't a punishment. Well, it can be, but it shouldn't be a punishment. But it's, you know, as I describe it, it's an invitation to the party. You know, your inside whip is saying, hello, left hind leg, come to the party and bring a bottle of vodka and I'll provide the nibbles and the other stuff. That's right, good. So now, we're just going to look at the canter for its own sake for a moment, all right? We're going to look for the same degree of roundness and throughness for the same reasons. That's right. We'll see Anna using a laterality to her position, the inside shoulder just spinning back. That's right. That's right. Very good. And just softening out the left and the right rein. Very good. That's right. So he adopts the same fullness in his outline. That's right. Well done. Well done. Try the circle a wee bit smaller. That's right. Because I'm interested in the canter for its own right, but now stay trot, good. And I want you to go jump on the bandwagon with that trot now, that's right. And having used the canter and the greater length of stride, the strength of step in the canter, that's right. So we put a more active trot in place, very good. Kind of alternate between rising and sitting, Anna, and just try to get him as powerful now in the step as you possibly can, that's right. Because the posture is on the whole staying really nice. That's right, so now the horse becomes available for activity and for driving. Every now and again, Anna, check that you can just put his neck down another 2 or 3 inches and drive. That's right. People often see, what we call the stretch as being somehow recreational. In fact, it's just another position in which to work the horse. And actually, if the horse is trying to run with you, and you put the neck down to stretch it, by all means you keep it slow and balanced on your seat. However, if it's not running away, a stretch needs a drive forward, because as the neck drops down, if you imagine there are 2 wheels, kind of thing, the neck is dropping down and the wheel like that away from you. The back end should be kind of cogwheeling behind you as well. And both of those rotating against each other help lift the back up. Good, Anna, that's right. Up to another level of the trot. That's it. Good boy. Now then, take the reins progressively a little bit shorter, and put him into a somewhat more compressed outline. Keep him just as active but slightly short from the step. Take a slight shoulder forward position. That's right, just as active. Good. That's it, well done. That's it. You get a little bit more shoulder action there, very good. And now rising and drive and try to lower his neck forward. So again, these areas of influence, we're shortening and lengthening the stride. We try to shorten and lengthen his top line. That's right, we're working in a little bit of inside bending position at the moment. And then we'll change the rein, good, and start to pick him back up. That's right, and he offers that fuller neck again. It's less important the horse is in one position and stays in one position than he is available to change from one position to the next, because that's what gives you both a physical availability and flexibility, and also a psychological flexibility. So the horse is willing to adopt a whole range of outlines and of length of stride. When you're ready, Anna, just take the trot a little shorter. You can go back to the sitting and reactivate the step. That's right. And then when you feel you can, we go rising again and driving forward. Oh, good boy. You see, I mean, that's an honest mistake. I'm not going to ask Anna to canter again, because it's obviously quite slippery and I don't want to risk the horse. But love him, he was thinking, he learned, so why would you tell a horse off for doing that? That's not only a genuine mistake, well, he didn't know it was a mistake, because he was just anticipating doing the canter. There's a good boy. Oh, yeah, again, love him. That's right, and then see if you can just take that neck gradually down, and part of the stretch, well done, part of the stretch also comes from, as I said, this driving behind, well done, very good. See if you can let the reins slip. Keep your hands where they are, so they stay relatively low, that's right, and then his anticipation, as you see, he follows the rein forward and down. Are you seeing this? Are you feeling the love? Excellent, and a walk transition, Anna, and we'll call it today for that, because I don't want to particularly canter him on the right rein for his own safety reasons. Lovely. Can we do a Debbie? Brilliant. Well,